Hello, and welcome to today's episode of the Jacksonville Jaguars Insider Podcast. My name is John Shipley. I am your host and beat reporter, and I have been your beat reporter covering the Jacksonville Jaguars every single day for On SI since August 2019, and we are continuing to move forward through another offseason together. As always, you can find our 24/7, 100% free boots on the ground coverage of the Jacksonville Jaguars every single day on social media when you follow us on sites such as Facebook and Twitter at Jaguars on SI. And you can also find us at www.si.com/NFL/Jaguars. All right, folks, in today's episode of the Jacksonville Jaguars Insider Podcast, we are going to continue and push through on our rookie impact ranking. So we obviously are going from number 9 to number 1. Everybody who knows who number 1 is, but today we are on number 4. Number 9, of course, was 7th-round pick Jonah Monheim. Number 8 was linebacker Jalen McLeod. Number 7 was linebacker Jack Kaiser. Number 6 was safety Ray Lane. I always mess up his name. My apologies. And number 5 was running back LaQuint Allen. So now we are looking at numbers 1 through 4. And of course, this is an impact, not necessarily who we think, are their most talented rookies or rankings or anything like that. But this is a ranking on from least impactful to most impactful in 2025 in their rookie seasons. Which rookies will make the biggest marks on the Jaguars? And we've made our cases for the rankings for the previous players. If you disagree with any of them, if you think someone should be higher, someone should be lower, if you just want to debate our outlook on them for their rookie seasons, you can always do so on social media, in the comments on YouTube, wherever you want to. But today we are on number 4. And for number 4, it's a tough one. Obviously we know who's at number 1, but the other 3 guys remaining, I think, are all, in the mix, at least to an extent, in terms of where they might be able to make the greatest impact. I think they're all very close. But with number 4, I'm going with none other than rookie running back Bashal Tootin. I think that Tootin will certainly make an impact for the Jaguars. I'm not sure if he necessarily profiles as a guy who's going to take over as, say, the workhorse of the offense. I think he'll have a role. I think, very easily could be a change of pace back. But as long as Travis Etienne and Tank Bigsby are both on the roster, it's just hard for me, and also factor in LaQuint Allen. It's just hard for me to think about the fact that there's only one football and how they divide these reps up. Because I don't think they'll just leave Travis Etienne on the bench if they keep him on the roster. I don't think they'll just leave Tank Bigsby on the bench either. So I think Tootin will make an impact. He's ahead of the other guys, and he was nearly number 3 on this list for me. We'll talk about who's number 3 on the next time we go over this list. But I nearly had Tootin number 3 because I do think even if he plays a limited role, if he scores a handful of touchdowns, that's more impactful, than most rookies. I just believe that the way the backfield is set up right now, it definitely looks like a backfield by committee. I'm not sure they'll have a true guy leading the charge. Maybe if a guy stands out during training camp or the preseason, if ETN looks like he's, playing really well, or if Tank Bigsby looks like he's adapting to the scheme really well, maybe then things are different. But for right now, I'm just not sure I see them having a true number 1 running back. And because of that, and because there are so many snaps to share and only one football to go around, I do think that discounts Tootin's rookie impact to a degree. Now, of course, one of the fastest players at the NFL scouting combine this year, a guy with that kind of speed dropping to the 4th round in of itself is a little surprising, plus including his production at Virginia Tech. A big reason, though, that he likely fell to where he did is he had a fumbling issue in college. It was the biggest negative and biggest, biggest red flag, whatever you want to call it, on pretty much every scouting report you go out there and find on him. He's a supremely talented guy, has home run speed. I think he will fit their zone running scheme very well because it's just once he gets his foot in the ground and he can explode vertically, he can just get past the second and third levels of the defense in the blink of an eye. But I do think the quickest way for a rookie running back to get stuck to the sideline or to at least not have that large of a role is to have a fumbling issue. Now, I'm not saying he has one. Obviously, fumbling was not a great aspect of his game in college. We'll see in NFL. He hasn't played an NFL game yet. He fumbled in one OTA practice. That's just one OTA practice. So we'll see, obviously, how that impacts him moving forward. But I think just, you as a rookie running back, probably almost more so than most other positions, frankly, outside of quarterback, you're just having to earn the trust of the coaching staff because they're putting a lot on you as a ball carrier in pass pro, as a pass catcher. Running backs impact the game in a lot of ways, and coaches want to trust that they know the guy that they're putting out there knows what he's doing and, has a low risk factor, a low downside. So Tune has to obviously prove to the Jaguars that he is that guy, that he can be obviously reliable down in and down out. And I'm not saying he can't, and I'm not saying he hasn't yet. I don't think one fumble in his first OTA practice as a professional athlete means that he won't. I just think it is maybe one trait to kind of look for, especially when it comes down to figuring out their impacts. Now, like I said, I nearly had Tuden at 3. I think the sheer fact alone that he will boost the rushing, offense when he's in, and the fact that he'll score and that he has some passing game upside gives him, at the very least, an argument to be higher on this list. I'm just in wait-and-see mode when it comes to Tuden in terms of seeing what his role is. I know fantasy Twitter is all over him. They've already benched Travis Etienne. They've already traded him. They've already benched Tank Bigsby, etc. But until I see the Jaguars actually do it, until I see the Jaguars, actually go to Tuden as their top guy, I'm just going to be a little bit skeptical that that's his role as a rookie. It doesn't mean that role can't change moving forward. And, of course, the role everybody, is thinking of when it comes to Tuden is Bucky Irving. It's the very in thing. It's the very fetch thing right now because Bucky Irving was a rookie running back with Liam Cohen, with a veteran running back in front of him and Rashad White. And he took the job, he ran away with it, and he never looked back. Can another rookie running back do that for Liam Cohen's offense in 2025? He has 2 between Tuden and LaQuint Allen. He wanted Ashton Ginty if they had stayed at 5. They would have drafted R.J. Harvey at 70, seemingly, if he was there, according to Michael Silver's report from their draft war room. This is a guy who clearly wanted to upgrade the running back room. But just because he wanted to upgrade the room doesn't necessarily mean he's ready to throw the keys to Tuden right away. So that's why I have Tuden at 4. Again, I think he can bring a positive impact to the offense, good change of pace, has speed that very few guys have. And, one of the big things that Cohen said after the draft when he was asked, what did you really see out of Tuden on tape? What about him kind of appeals to you? He talked about 2 things. He talked about, forced, missed, and broken tackles and yards after contact, which Tuden is very good at. He's very good at simply creating yards, when he has to create for himself as opposed to simply relying on the offensive line and just getting what's blocked for him. But he also mentioned the fact that he improves their striking distance. And that last year with Tampa, they had to have a lot of long, methodical drives where you're converting several first downs. And it seems like he wants fewer of those in Jacksonville. He wants more explosiveness. He wants longer plays. He wants longer touchdowns, longer scores. And I think that Tuden is one of the best options to get it. It's him, Brian Thomas Jr., to me, Travis Hunter, and then De'Ami Brown. Those are the 4 guys with just pure speed on the offense who, if Cohen wants to be an offense that is just testing teams in terms of big play after big play, those are the guys with the type of speed and explosiveness he can lean on. So I do think Tuden will have a role in some form or fashion. I am just not comfortable enough with what I perceive as the role or the potential setup to put him any higher than number 4 on this list. Thank you guys for listening to today's episode. As always, you can find us at the Jacksonville Jaguars Insider Podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and all other platforms. And you can also find us on our YouTube channel, Sports Videos on SI.